Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here on this Monday morning. Our goal today is to raise awareness of 988. It's a 3-digit lifeline for all Rhode Islanders, 988. As you can tell from this room and from the speaking agenda, we have a packed program for you today. My name is Margie O'Brien. I'm the director and host of Capital TV, and it is my honor to be the MC for this incredible event today. We will hear from these amazing dignitaries who have joined with us today. We're also going to share some success stories of the 988 program already. And lastly, we're going to mix in some New England Patriots magic. So really, a great program. But we do want to begin with thank yous, of course, to the 988 crisis counselors for their tireless work. Thank you very much. Sponsors, we couldn't do it without you. Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, and Minutemen Press. And for our next group, we're going to ask that you stand. These are the 988 Day Planning Group members who have put on this incredible day. So if you're in the audience, please stand up. We'd love to recognize you. Also to the community providers and the educators who are talking about 988 every day in their neighborhoods, their schools, the programs in their different areas. Thank you very much for sharing. So as a tween growing up in Natick, Massachusetts, we had a 3-digit code, 411. It was our information. You could dial it on your rotary phone, and you could get the phone number of that cute boy in your science class, or an address for your parents to drop you off at a birthday party this weekend. And you could even call 411 to get the weather, because God forbid you look out the window. And as a tween, in our teen minds, we really thought, this is a lifeline. But now we all know that the true lifeline is something available to all Rhode Islanders in 988. That 3-digit code that will connect you to a caring person, someone that can listen, a trained professional that can help you act. And 988 has been live now for 3 years in Rhode Island, and there's some amazing news to share with all of you this morning. There has been an increase in calls by 212%, which is amazing, from July of 2022 to this past July 2025. 212%. Close to 30,000 Rhode Islanders have reached out. They have dialed 988 when they were struggling, when they needed help, and they were able to get the help they needed. And here's the best part about it. These incredible professionals that work at BH-Link and that answer the 988 calls, they answer those phone calls in less than 2 seconds. This is in fact the best in-state answer rate throughout the country. And that's it. So if you really think about it, in under 2 seconds, you hear that hello that you probably really need to hear, and you are connected to a true lifeline, someone that is going to help you. So you can't change your mind in 1.6 seconds. You have instant help, and it's all about help. That's what this program thrives on and survives on. So to begin our speaking portion, I'd like to welcome the Governor Dan McKee to the podium. He is someone that has championed this program right from the very start. Governor?
Margie, thank you. Thank you for your leadership and your presentation just then. I think you said it all. To have National 988 Day, but again, seeing Rhode Island actually leading the charge on these really important mental health issues, as a tribute to everyone in the room and beyond that has really worked to establish this program. So I'm happy to be here with our congressional delegation, the senators, Reed, Whitehouse, Congressman Amo, along with our Lieutenant Governor, and of course the President Lawson. Thank you for attending. And then to all the workers over here with our rep and all the people who are doing the work. Director, thank you so much for your leadership here too. As Margie said, look at our administration is made up of people who really care about these most important issues to make sure that we're keeping as many people safe as we possibly can. And then as we identify people who are challenged, we want to meet that challenge, and we want to create a path so that there's more and more healthy people out there amongst those who are struggling. So it's a reminder that people are not alone in the state of Rhode Island. And there's no question, timely access to crisis services saves lives. Rhode Island's 988 call center launched, and we've seen these words in action. And I visited areas, even as a lieutenant governor, that we're working with our first responders in particular. As a former mayor, I know that first responders are critically impacted by the work that they do. Whether it's for mental health, substance abuse issues, or just needing someone to talk to, 988 is there. And today I'm proud to recognize the individuals who provide that help and highlight where it can be found. So the more people who know, I can imagine, the number is increasing of people who are dialing that 988. And you did that on a rotary phone. What did you do that, Marge? On a rotary phone, the 411? That was the old, yes, that brought back some memories. We've come a long way. But as governor, I'm grateful to know that each and every one of those calls is being treated with sincerity and compassion. The men and women at the 988 call center continue to step up to answer those calls and support people in need. And quickly under 2 seconds. Under 2 seconds. 1.9 second answer rate. That's what I got on paper here. And you confirm that. That's powerful. That's very powerful, especially to those who are seeking out help. And isn't that one of the first steps? Knowing that you need to seek out help. And then the second step, and most important step, is that there's people on the other end of that line that can actually provide that help. So today and every day, let's recognize those hardworking counselors and let Rhode Islanders know we're here for you. Let families know we're here for their loved ones. It's my honor to present this proclamation declaring Not Today, 988 Day in the state of Rhode Island and reaffirming our commitment to supporting those in need. Thank you for having me. Margie, I guess you're going to accept this, seeing that you're running the show up here. But it says, I get to sign these proclamations as governor on behalf of all the people who live in our state. And whereas the state of Rhode Island, in collaboration with National Suicide Prevention Week and National Suicide Prevention Month, is recognizing 988 Day here today in Rhode Island. So thank you.
Thank you, Governor. During events like this, it's usually the personal stories that really resonate with people. You can see it on the faces in the audience. It's the stories that people remember and they'll share with their loved ones at the dinner table that night. And for that, we asked Stephanie Clifford, a 988 crisis counselor, to come up and share some of those stories with us.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Clifford and I'm a clinical supervisor at the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. I have the privilege of answering calls alongside our dedicated team of crisis counselors whose role we provide compassionate and immediate support to our callers, helping them navigate their crisis safely through a system that can be overwhelming even on the best of days. Although every call is different, our goal remains the same: to provide hope, validation, and a path forward for each caller beyond the crisis. Let me take you behind the scenes for just a moment. Imagine that it's 2 a.m. There's a young student calling, whispering in their dorm room. They're terrified, not of the monsters under the bed, but of the thoughts in their own mind. They say, "I don't want to die, but I don't know how to keep living like this." Picture a veteran who's never spoken with anyone about what they've seen. They call us after seeing a commercial for 988 and say, "I didn't think anyone would understand." They cry, sometimes for the very first time. And although that call might only last for 20 minutes, it could be the beginning of a path forward that they didn't see before. We hear from parents, exhausted, overwhelmed, who say, "I love my kids, but I feel like I'm drowning." Or teens who text us from school bathrooms saying, "I'm being bullied and I don't know what to do." An elderly woman in her late 80s will call for the first time on a Sunday afternoon, her voice soft and apologetic. "I'm sorry to bother you. I just haven't spoken to anyone in 3 days." Or an older gentleman who's deeply grieving, telling a counselor, "I just wanted to hear another voice." These are the moments where empathy becomes a lifeline. We listen, we validate, we help them find the reason to hold on. These are not just calls. They're moments of courage, moments of connection. 988 isn't just a number. It's a promise that no one has to go through a mental health crisis alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. As my mom would say, you're doing God's work. Our next speaker, Senator Jack Reed, was instrumental in creating this lifeline, knowing that people in crisis, someone who is struggling, needs ease and empathy at their fingertips by dialing 988. Senator Reed?
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Margie. It's a distinct honor to be here today to join the governor, my colleague in the delegation, Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Amo, and Lieutenant Governor, and so many of my colleagues in state governments. I'm particularly delighted to hear this young lady's presentation about what it's like to be on the front lines. Thank you so much for that. I think also, too, it's a time to salute the community partners that have made this work, and that's the Community Care Alliance and the Horizon Healthcare Partners. And I want to point out who the partners are in Horizon Healthcare. The Community Care Alliance, Newport Mental Health, Thrive Behavioral Health, Tides Family Services, Galilee Mission, and Kodak. Thank you very much. Keep making it. Several years ago, I helped develop and then write this law to switch from the long 1-800 number to 988. I drew on my experience as an Army officer, and the acronym we always use, KISS, K-I-S-S, which means keep it simple, stupid. Or 1-800 something, 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 no one can remember, particularly in a crisis. 988, people get it. And it's so critical. That's one reason that the call volume has increased dramatically. Of course, the real reason is the people you're seeing right here. They're the real reason. But we've given them now, we've given people something they can remember, something they can do easily, something that can be passed friend to friend, family to family, 988. And
We in Rhode Island are a national leader in this effort because of the work that you have all done. Nobody else, you have done it. You have created a situation where we have the best answer rate in the country, 1.9 seconds. It's amazing. Just think about it. Someone in a life and death dilemma can call and 1.9 seconds of talking to someone, and then they can be directed to a specialist who understands their problems profoundly, a fellow veteran, an older person. All of this is terrific, and it happens here around because of you. Now, it takes a lot of resources to hire the staff, to answer the phones, train the people, and Rhode Island is meeting this moment spectacularly. I'm just so proud of you. But we need to increase awareness of 988 so everyone knows it's out there. And by the way, as you well know, 988 is just not for people in crisis. 11% of the people who call, they reach out because of a friend or relative, not themselves. And they get the counseling, and they get the advice, and they're able to help their friends. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and today is National 988 Day. So let's harness this energy and get the word out about 988. But I would be remiss if I did not also mention the challenges we face this year. The Trump administration is making massive cuts to health care across the board, including mental health. President and congressional Republicans approved a bill that will cut Medicaid by $1 trillion and lead to 15 million people losing their health insurance. Now, how are we supposed to get people who call 988 in crisis into treatment if they have no insurance, if they have no way to pay for it? And the best way to prevent suicide is to provide quick, easy access to health care, mental health care. Now, not that enough, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I emphasize Jr., has proposed eliminating SAMHSA. That's the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Agency. We're going to take out the experts in the federal government and just let everyone go their own way, I suppose. And the Trump administration is also cutting funding for the LGBTQ plus specialized services within 988, which President Trump, by the way, supported in his first term when he signed my bill, the National Suicide Hotline Designation Act, into law in 2020. The Trevor Project, which provides these services, helped roughly 500,000 people last year. And we know that LGBTQ plus youth are more than 4 times likely to commit suicide than their peers. It's about helping people, not cheap political gimmicks. And I'll keep fighting to protect this funding, and I will, in the Senate, we have included this language in the 2026 funding bill on a bipartisan basis. Yeah. Let me close by simply thanking you who do the work. I'm very, very proud of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. For those of you who don't know, the 988 call center is housed at BH Link in East Providence, right on Waterman Avenue. And the facility, if you haven't visited, is welcoming. It's comforting. When you go in there, you really feel like you can take a deep breath. And Senator Sheldon Whitehouse just had the pleasure of touring this facility, and I'm hoping you'll share your take on it and what you thought when you walked in the door. In addition to
Thank you.
Well, it's great to be here with the Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and Jack Reed, Gabe Amo, President Lawson, and Representative Solomon. Thank you for having us in your house for this day. But what I'm really feeling here is that I'm in the company of heroes. You all who work in behavioral health, mental health, and addiction services have persisted and prevailed in a world in which you were understaffed, under-resourced, underfunded, too often underappreciated. And yet here in Rhode Island, we are over and over again setting the pace for the whole country. It's happening in a lot of spaces. It's happening with Linda Hurley's new Kodak premises, which are so glorious. It's happening with the successes of BH Link. It is happening, I'll single out particularly our police departments. Our police departments are, by definition, first responders. And for years now, Rhode Island's police departments have been at the forefront nationally of integrating their work with the behavioral health response work that needs to be done. So thank you to all of the police departments who are participating in this work. Jack Reed was instrumental in all of this, so let me single him out in particular. And I think the most important thing that was said today was just said by Stephanie Clifford. So I'm going to say it again. These are not just calls. 988 isn't just a number. It's a promise that no one has to go through a mental health crisis alone. We're there now. We have the opportunity to build on that platform. The CARA resources are still there, and we will defend them. The Community Behavioral Health Center resources are still there, and we will defend them. As Rhode Island stands up and completes its CCBHC program, that gives us a terrific opportunity to take the day-to-day heroics of what you all have been doing for years and move them to a new architecture of response that can more completely and efficiently serve Rhode Island. I think we now have the resources to have that conversation without taking away from the immediacy of the response that you all experience day in and day out that's so necessary. So this is not just a day of recognition and appreciation, it's also a day to think forward to how much better we can continue to be on top of how wonderful you all already are. So thank you very much.
And our next speaker is the most recent elected official joining us this morning, but he has a finger on the pulse of Rhode Islanders. He understands what they need, what they want. They needed 988, maybe before we all even recognized that. Representative Gabe Amo, please join us.
Thank you so much, Margie. This is such a remarkable village, and I say that because it feels so tight-knit in this room. And as the Senator just said, a room full of heroes, miracle workers. So first, I must begin by expressing gratitude. Those 2 seconds just elapsed. And in that time, someone has the capacity to go from a moment of crisis to a moment where hope gets to just glimmer in the window. That's powerful. And so on National 988 Day, we reaffirm a truth that we all acknowledge, but sometimes is worth repeating, that the support for mental health care is part of total health care. It's an essential part that requires our commitment, and that's what makes today special, is that we're all aligned there. And so alongside so many great leaders who are here, the senators that we have present, the governor, Senate president, certainly all of the law enforcement here, and all of the miracle workers, those providing help through the 988 hotline. We are assembled. And I think back to one of the first visits that I had after getting elected. I've been in Congress now 22 months. was to BH Link, and we had an opportunity to see this space in the first congressional district that is a beacon of hope. And so we are all on the same page. Unfortunately, as you heard, we have some strong headwinds coming out of Washington. You know, Senator Reid mentioned the cuts to SAMHSA and stripping $1 billion in grants from states. But as Senator Whitehouse said, there's still great opportunity on so many programs where Rhode Island has led. But unfortunately, with some of those cuts, some of the most specialized services, especially for LGBTQ youth, are on the chopping block. And mental health care, as you all know, must meet people where they are. That means culturally competent care and trained responders that understand the lived experiences of the great tapestry that we're part of. Communities of color, rural Americans, LGBT youth. So many people require support, and we must meet them where they are. So ultimately, the system is only as strong as our commitment to fund it. That means funding 988 and working to combat the other attacks on our healthcare system, protecting Medicaid, investing in federally qualified health centers, and integrating behavioral health into every corner of our healthcare system. You all know that this is not a luxury. This is essential. And the 988 Lifeline is our commitment to meet every call for help with urgency, with decency, with dignity and compassion. So I say happy 988 day, but also let's keep going. Let's continue the mission of progress, and let's keep saving lives. Thank you for letting me do this.
Thank you, Representative. We did want to recognize the Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos. She was with us earlier, but I think had to run out for another appointment. And we are told she is such a cheerleader for 988 and for BH Link in the community. So we thank her for that. Director Richard Leclerc saw the vision of 988 in a three-prong approach. Someone to talk to, someone to respond, and that is the mobile crises teams that will actually go out and meet people where they are. And lastly, number 3 is to have someone respond, someone to go to, and that is the BH Link in East Providence. So Director, I ask you to come up now and share some of your thoughts on your vision and how well it's working out.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank Governor McKee, Senators Reid and Whitehouse, Lieutenant Governor Matos, of course, President Lawson, Congressman Amo, and all the distinguished guests here for your strong support of 988 Call Center and for mental health wellness in Rhode Island. I'd especially like to have a shout out to members of the team at BHDDH, Tom Martin, Christine Ury, Beth Matthews, and also the folks at HHP, Ben, Dana, Linda, and several others I'm sure I've missed who will let me know about this afterwards. So my apologies, but you're all important in the leadership, but most important are the staff that provide the service for 988. And so Stephanie, thank you for your comments. It took me a while to get that frog and that lump out of my throat after some of those stories. So it makes an impact on those people and on us who listen to them as well. So thank you. Before we look at the data, I'd like to also thank not only the Horizon Health Partners and Community Care Alliance, but all those of you involved in providing the services on the ground for the past 3 years. We're grateful for your continued efforts. So now let's look at some of the numbers. Some of them have already been mentioned, and I think they're worth repeating. So since its launch in July of 2022, calls to our local 988 center have increased by 212%, from 490 the first month to more than 1,500 in July of this year. That's a clear sign that the message is getting through. 988 is here to listen, to support, to help without judgment. Over the past 3 years, the center has answered more than 28,000 calls. 98% of them answered in the state with an average speed of 1.9 seconds, as was been mentioned a few times. That's essentially answering the phone before it rings. You realize that? So it's that fast in terms of making sure that we respond when someone calls and doesn't hang up because we failed to answer. We would like to, when we include our original helpline, which is 414 link, that number, which is answered, by the way, by the same 988 staff, that number jumps up to 64,000 calls answered. 64 times that someone has been able to find a lifeline. Of course, 988 is more than just a number. It's a symbol of progress, of reducing stigma, of making help more accessible, and ensuring that anyone, no matter what their circumstances are, is treated with dignity, respect, and care. We all know how vital this is to creating a safe, supportive spaces for those facing mental health challenges. 988 connects people directly to trained professionals who can guide, de-escalate, connect, and comfort those who call for help when they need it. That's the power of this system, and we're grateful for the impact everyone here today has helped to create. Thank you.
As you may know, the Rhode Island legislature invested in healthcare this past session. They added money to the budget to not only attract but to retain incredible medical professionals. They want people to stay in Rhode Island. They want to provide the best care. President Valerie Lawson was part of the champion team that supported the budget, that put in legislation that would help all Rhode Islanders. And I'm pretty sure she has a soft spot in her heart for BH Link because it is in her district. President?
Thank you, Margie. On behalf of all my Senate colleagues, it's truly an honor to be here today at 988 Day. And like my colleagues in government, I'd like to thank the organizations that have been mentioned today that provide these incredible resources like 988 and BH Link, which I've had the personal privilege to tour with many of my Senate colleagues. The work you do, Stephanie, the work you do and your colleagues change people's lives. They save them and they change them. And I'm extremely grateful to your work and the service that you provide our communities and your advocacy for our neighbors in need. So thank you to all of you who are part of that process. I'd like to take a moment just to recognize one of my colleagues that's with us here today, Senator Urso. Thank you for joining us. And I'd also like to take a moment to recognize the governor, Senators Reed in Whitehouse, Representative Amo, my colleague in the House, Representative Solomon. It's so important to have their commitment and their presence today, and the Lieutenant Governor, who I miss, just show you how important these services are to Rhode Island. And when you look at that data, it's astounding that that impacts people, and that translates to making people's lives better. So it's extremely important that we continue to provide for these resources. And we live in a moment where the need of the resources for 980 is great. It's greater than it's been before. And although that's the case, it's important that we're at a place where people feel like they can access these services and to get this help, because without it, it could just mean the difference. So it's extremely important that we address people's behavior and mental health issues. And we all know that everyone is impacted by all of this. There are people we live with every day. So as we move forward, I think we just need to continue this work and just realize that everyone's work here today just makes a difference. And the positive impact is so important. And I'd like to also thank the first responders, because I know in my community there's that direct link and it makes such a difference. So when you think about resources like this, just think that they're available to all, and they're available to all, and they can truly make a difference. So as president of the Rhode Island Senate, as an educator, and as a Rhode Islander, I'm so proud to be here today. I've seen some of the work firsthand. I appreciate everyone who shares this vision and commitment in uplifting those in need. And I just think we should celebrate today and continue the good work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, President. Representative Joe Solomon, if you ever talk to him about mental health issues and resources available, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He will tell you exactly what it means to him and how he wants to help others. He's been a champion of legislation, supporting the budget, and is here with us now to talk more about why 988 Day is so important.
I'm honored to be here on behalf of the Speaker of the House as well as my colleagues in the House of Representatives. It was back in 2022 that the General Assembly put aside money in the state budget to create the 988 Suicide Prevention Hotline of Rhode Island. Representative Sheldon Smith was instrumental in first introducing the bill in the House. But we're just so fortunate with the leadership of the governor, with our federal delegation, with our partners in the Senate, that we're all on the same page in making this happen, to ensure that there's sustainable funding and to continue this very important resource. But most of all, I just want to look around the room and I see all the first responders. Thank you all for making this happen. The success of that endeavor has been tremendous, and the numbers, as you've heard them today, speak for themselves. 1.9 seconds. So critical, that time period. Imagine if someone had to sit there and wait on the phone ring after ring and not get anyone. That 1.9 second response rate is just phenomenal. And it shows people that there's someone on the other end there to listen to them, to help them. Now, the year before, in 2022, we had passed a law requiring each public college or university to establish a plan for addressing the mental health needs of its students. The year before that, we passed a law that requires the Department of Education to incorporate into the curriculum programs related to suicide prevention. And in recent years, mental health has become more of a priority for the General Assembly as we begin to understand the ways that public policy can have a profound effect on the mental and emotional well-being of everyone. Today we gather not only to celebrate the success of the 988 program, but more importantly, to spread the word about it. Because it's not enough that we provide the resources to help those who are overcome with despair. We also have to use our energies to erode the stigma that has stood in the way of help and treatment for those who need it most. It's our job to ensure that 988 is as familiar in the minds of Rhode Islanders as 911, that seeking mental health treatment is as commonplace as buying a bottle of Claritin to fend off seasonal allergies. And when I look around this room, as those who have worked so hard to make it a success, I'm proud to live in a state where so many are making it easier for those struggling with mental illness and to get the help that they need. Thank you.
So I told you earlier that we were going to weave in a little New England Patriot magic. We have a very special guest here today, Tully Banta-Kane. We'd love for you to join us up here and tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, we all know that he was part of this winning team, but why you jumped on to this team.
Hello. Good morning. Wow, this place is beautiful. I joined the Horizon Healthcare Foundation and the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration due to a lot of other factors that happened for a football player in my life. But my kids, I'm a parent, and so it is a near and dear issue. I'm proud to be here on 988 in an effort to raise awareness about the 988 Lifeline. As a New England Patriot, football has always been more than just a game to me. It's been an outlet for me, a way to deal with stress, stay grounded, and take care of my mental health. That's part of why I started the Beach Football League. The beach is my favorite place to go when I need to clear my head and ground myself. I go look at the ocean almost every day. And with the BFL, I want to take that space and create a way for athletes and youth to play football and be a part of an outdoor community that supports life and lifts each other up when life gets heavy. No matter how strong or successful someone may look on the outside, we all face challenges on the inside. That's why resources like 988 are so important. Just like we train our bodies, we have to train and take care of our minds. And just like we call 911 in an emergency, 988 is there when we or someone we love needs immediate mental health or support. I encourage you all to remember 988 is there for all of us. Anyone listening to this message, share with others every chance you get. You never know who might need it. And remember, asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Being part of a team has taught me that I'm never alone, and 988 is that teammate we can all call and lean on when things get tough. Thank you for letting me be a part of this important day, and let's keep supporting one another on and off the field.
Thanks, Sally. So oftentimes we hear about statistics, either in a press release or on the news or in a gathering like this. But here is a unique opportunity for all of you. On September 27th, the Rhode Island Indian Council is going to organize a powwow to raise awareness of 988 and the mental health resources available in our state. And for more, Daryl Waldron's going to join us to tell us a little bit about this. A powwow. This is incredible.
Thank you. It's awesome to be here with our leadership and an opportunity to talk a little bit about the Indian Council and this powwow and what we're trying to do. We are probably the most misunderstood community in the country. We represent 1% of the United States population right now. At one time we were 99%, right? We suffer from historical trauma. It was a breakthrough 20 years ago when we started really looking at the suicide numbers. The number one cause of death in Native communities is suicide, which destroys families. The people who survive, the family members, the loved ones, always question that. And we brought together 15 psychoanalysts and mental health and folks, and we kind of dove in on it. And it has to do with war and historical trauma and what happens to a person in war in their brain, and then when they come back and make families, right? So the United States is a product of the Indian Wars, the Civil Wars, World War I, World War II, Korean Wars, Vietnam War, Gulf War. Just about every child born in the United States may have touched someone who had combat or had trauma from those wars. You look around this film, these men of war in these pictures. So we started focusing on that, right? Then you talk about the boogeyman in the closet, the monster under the bed. Those are part of trauma. And what leads them to suicide is horrible, right? Little children, older adults, the families suffer. So we're an isolated community. We don't play well in the sandbox with everybody, and we this tribal warriorness in all of us. And it's a difficult field to navigate. So I'm so happy that we have an opportunity to do a powwow and talk about suicide and mental health. Every Native event that I've been involved with, there's someone or many who have a family member that is suicide. They'll be at this powwow. Chief Scout from Narragansett, his father killed himself. I ran into him, he was almost in tears when we talked about this. So, we're excited about these powwows. They're a lot of fun. They're how we, feel good about ourselves. There'll be services there for folks. There'll be some honoring opportunities for people that'll give you a good, genuine feeling. The Rhode Island Indian Council is an inter-tribal Indian center. We do not work aggressively with tribal politics. We're the opposite. We want to get tribal citizens out of that poverty, out of that turmoil, out of that misery. Not that all of them are, but a very good percentage of them are. And about 80% of the Indian population leaves the reservation. And then we deal, with whatever that is. And it's difficult to get men into mental health. There's not many men here, which is becoming all too often, right? Men need to get involved. They need to find that sensitive side of them that their mom perhaps put in and get involved. This room is an example of what I see. So we're excited about it. It is a great opportunity for us to work with and start to have partnerships, which we don't always do so well. There's about 6,500 to 7,000 natives in Rhode Island, 54 different tribal groups. We do mental health. I probably spend a couple $100,000 a year on mental health, the majority of females. I'm trying to find a male mental health for an event we're doing on Friday. Men's talking circle, and having a great deal of difficulty finding a male. So we got a couple medicine men coming down, and so it's new for us, right? But historical trauma has touched all of us. I think the boogeyman under the bed and the boogeyman in the closet is a suppressed historical trauma from a loved one before us. So it's appreciative to be here today. I think it's awesome. The room is packed. I'm hearing wonderful things about 988. I am amazed at the amount of numbers that are calling them. It's a little scary, right? The national news is becoming scary, right? We don't know anymore. And I think it's bringing up all this stuff. So the powwow is going to be great, 10 a.m. in the morning you can arrive. Grand entry is around noontime. We're trying to have all of the tribes there. We've been in touch with the tribal administration for many tribes. So grand entry is something that is grand to see. Them all coming in and representing their people. So I want to thank you all for this opportunity. It's good to see the governor here. Him and I have had many meetings, the past administration as well. It's good to feel that we have partners to some degree, because we're always just us, right? The West did a good job on creating the savage in us, It's not true. So, thank you everyone, appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Our last speaker on the agenda today is Jason Beneducci from the North Kingstown Police. He is just one of the officers, the first responders who have been honored here today. They went above and beyond with their outreach in the community, and we're going to see from that today on the monitor here on the screen, but also hear from Jason first.
Good morning. It's an honor to be here, and I couldn't think of a better way to start off a week on a Monday than 988 Day. Over the past few weeks, I've had the privilege of writing and filming a series of 5 short videos with my fellow co-workers from officers and dispatchers to help spread awareness about 988 and suicide crisis hotline. Momentarily, you'll see 2 of the 5 videos. All 5 videos will be posted and currently are being posted on the North Kingstown Police Department's social media website, social media accounts. So the messages can reach everyone, even more families, friends, and neighbors across our state. From us in law enforcement, we know when someone is in crisis, every moment matters. Having 988 is a direct, simple resource, saves lives, and ensures no one has to face their struggles alone. Thank you for including the North Kingstown Police Department in this important initiative. Together, we're making sure every Rhode Islander knows that help is just 3 numbers away, 988.
As a school resource officer, I get to know a lot of students. I've seen firsthand that growing up today is not easy. There's all kinds of pressures about grades, friends, family stuff, social media. It can feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. If you're ever feeling like it's too much, that nobody understands, I promise you, there's someone who will listen. You can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. Whether you're feeling anxious, depressed, or just don't feel like yourself, it's okay to reach out. You don't have to be in a life or death situation to ask for help. 988 is there for all of it, big or small. We care about you and you are not alone. Call 988.
Sorry for the little technical issue. We did have another video, and now I'm going to challenge you all to go onto their website and watch it for yourself. So just to highlight some of the incredible numbers that we're talking about, 988, it does take more strength to ask for help than to sit silent. And just to realize that 30,000 Rhode Islanders have already reached out. That means 30,000 lives are already on a better path, which is really amazing. Thank you to Stephanie for sharing those stories. Your crew, we've seen them in action. We've gone to BH Link a bunch of times, and they are there. They're answering those calls in less than 2 seconds. Everyone here today has a vested interest. You wholeheartedly believe in increasing resources in the mental health field. But I'm going to challenge you, and it's a little old school again. Leave here and tell 3 friends. 1 friend for every digit. And just like the Fabergé shampoo commercial from yesteryear, hopefully they will tell 3 friends. And so on, and so on, and so on. And the word will get out that help is available. Thanks so much for being here. Enjoy your Monday. Thanks again.